Hello, hello, and welcome to our math class. So, I'm going to go over how to divide fractions. Some of you already had me for second and third period, and we talked a little bit about how to divide fractions. But for those of you, like in first period, who haven't seen this yet, I will very quickly go over a strategy that we will use to divide fractions. So, I set up this problem 5/9 divided by 4/5. So, we have a fraction here. This is a proper fraction, 5/9. And remember, it's proper because the numerator, which is the top number, it is a lot smaller than the denominator. So I'm going to go ahead and label these here. This is the numerator. And it is the numerator because it is the top number. It is the number that we are using, the parts that we are using. And then we have our denominator, which is our bottom number. Denominator. It is the total equal parts that a object is being divided into, okay? So that is our denominator. So how would we divide fractions? It is actually really easy. There is something called the whoop-whoop strategy, which actually has you multiplying fractions instead of dividing them. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to do the whoop whoop. And remember, when you start the whoop whoop, for those of you who saw the videos, we will start from the numerator in your first fraction. So that means the top number in your first fraction going down to your denominator of your second fraction, going all the way up to your new numerator. So let me go ahead and draw equals and make our new fraction. Okay, so all we have to do now, think about it. Now that we did the happy face, now instead of dividing, we are multiplying here. Remember, we are multiplying. And boys and girls, what is 5 times 5? You got it, 25. So 25 will be your new numerator, your answer in your numerator, okay? 5 times 5 equals 25. Now, I'm going to use a different color to represent our denominator. Sorry, our frowny face. Remember, whoop whoop is a happy face and a frowny face. Now, we're going to start at the denominator from your first fraction, and we're going to go up to the numerator of the second fraction and down to the denominator of your answer. All you're going to do now is multiply. You got it. We're going to multiply now. So we have 9 multiplied by 4. So you're multiplying. Okay, we're not dividing anymore. Think about it. 9 times 4 equals, what's your answer? 36. Okay, now you have your answer. So when I ask you, what is 5/9 divided by 4/5? You should say 25 over 36. Okay, so now we have another problem here. We have another example. This is a division. And here we have 9/10 divided by 4/9. So we have two fractions that we're going to divide. And remember, we're going to use the whoop whoop strategy to help us get the answer. Division of fractions is actually one of my favorites. It's very easy because you just do the opposite if you do the whoop whoop. And then we could always double check our division with multiplication by using the keep it, switch it, flip it, which we'll talk about it. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Again, we are going to start with the numerator, and I guess I should have labeled these. Numerator. It is the numerator. It is the top number. And then we have the, what is it, boys and girls? What is the bottom number? Denominator. Denominator. It is the total equal parts that something is divided into. Okay? Now, numerator, denominator. I am going to go ahead and use a different color today. We're going to start with the numerator of the first fraction, which would be the 9. And we're going to go down to the denominator of the second fraction, which is a 9 again, making a happy face all the way up. Remember, you go all the way up. Don't stop here because then you would get an incorrect answer. So whatever we get here will be the product of those two numbers. Product means the answer to the multiplication. So what is 9 times 9? Think about it. Think about it. You are correct. 81. 81. Let me make that a little darker. 81 is our answer for our numerator. 9 times 9. We're not dividing anymore. Once we make the happy face, we're crossing lines. We're multiplying. Take a look at what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a green. I'm going to do the same thing, but this time, instead of starting with the numerator, I'll start with the denominator. Remember, denominator means the bottom number. Okay, denominator, 10 times 4, all the way down to your denominator is your answer. Okay, boys and girls, think about it. 10 times 4. We're not dividing. We're multiplying now. Why? Because we are crossing lines. Take a look at what I did with that purple and green lines. What does it look like? X. X for multiplication. Yes, that is why we are multiplying now. That's not why, but that's something that I noticed. I don't know how many of you noticed that. Okay, so again, 10 times 4. What's the answer? Yes, 40. Now, what kind of fraction did I get? When your top number, your numerator, is bigger than your bottom number, we call that a improper fraction. It's not proper, but we still use them, okay? We will use them in 6th grade. So we have our answer, 81 over 40. One quick way to double check if we did our math correct is to multiply, right? So I kind of talked about it earlier, but for those of you who haven't seen it, I called it the keep it, switch it, flip it. We're going to keep the first fraction the same. Keep it. Just bring it down. So 9 over 10. We're keeping that. And we're going to switch from division to multiplication. So I'm going to switch division to multiplication. Oh, that is not a beautiful X. And I'm going to flip the second fraction. When I say flip, I mean that I'm going to change the denominator up here, and whatever I have up here in my numerator, I'm going to put that down in my denominator. So this is what I mean. If the 9 was at the bottom, if I was to flip it, the 9 will now go at the top. Now, if the 4 was on top, the 4 will go at the bottom. Okay, so I did all of that work just to show you, or not to show you, but just for you to learn how to double check if your math is correct. Okay, so it's keep it, because you're keeping the 9/10. Switch it from division to multiplication, flip it, flipping your numbers. And just the way you would multiply regular numbers, you're going to multiply straight across. Okay, boys and girls, help me out from left to right. What is 9 times 9? You got it right. 81. Now we have 10. What is 10 times 4? Yes, you got it right. 40. So we're double checking our work with multiplication. 81 over 40 should have been our answer. And what did we get? 81 over 40. And that could be your answer, or you could simplify it, but we'll talk about that in another video. Okay, I hope that this video helps. And just remember, when you're writing your answer in Edulastic, just write down the answer. Do not write all of the work. Just go ahead and put 81 over 40, and I will take that as your answer, okay? Have a good day.